to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hey, Biz Bestie, welcome back to the show. Today we have a special guest and I am excited for you to learn from her and connect with her. She is a wealth of wisdom. Her and I are actually connected in another women's group, and it has been really fun to not only continue to connect with women like her, but also invite them to just really be on the show and to just provide value and highlight her. Because if you know anything about us, you know that we love to create platforms that highlight other women. And Jennifer Jacobson is one of the women that we are getting to know today. So Jennifer, thanks so much for being here. I'm excited to connect with you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. Just love chatting with you. So I'm sure it's going to be a fun episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jennifer Jacobson, she is a certified life and business coach for female entrepreneurs and a master's level mental health therapist. She helps female entrepreneurs create clarity and confidence in their business and life so they can generate more cash. She does this using her signature Clarity to Cash system. Her clients call her their business therapist since she helps them get out of their head so they can actually solve the problems in their businesses. As a wife and a mom of 3 girls who's worked for many years in the mental health field as a psychotherapist and a business owner, she has a unique perspective on how to ditch the overwhelm and negative self-talk so they can feel clear, confident, and in control. Jennifer's passion is to take female entrepreneurs from the place of feeling doubtful of themselves, confused and overwhelmed, to feeling balanced, confident, and free in their lives so they can effectively make money without stress and build a business they love. Jennifer offers both VIP individual coaching as well as a small group coaching in power groups. Both get you clear on how to have your dream business while helping you overcome any blocks in your way. I love it, Jennifer. Well, again, welcome. And I'm excited to dive in just a little bit kind of towards the backstory of all this amazing stuff that you're doing, because it wasn't always like this. And here we do real, we do the messy, we do like the authentic conversations, where the places where maybe we felt like you weren't enough, or maybe the places you felt like you were too much and you had to find the right rooms and find the right businesses and find your people type of a conversation. So take us back a little bit in your story and what got you to this place.
Yeah, well, I don't know how far you want to go, but we can go way back. So I actually got my master's degree in 1998. So I'm really aging myself here. And worked as a therapist for a while. And then I kind of semi-retired and was a stay-at-home mom, raised my girls. And then I was like, okay, I want to get back to work. I miss working. I miss making a difference in people's lives. I miss making that impact. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back to therapy because therapy is like, it's stressful. There's a high burnout rate. It's,
Totally.
when I was doing private practice, like the people that I worked with, like had some major stuff going on. And it really, like, it kind of stayed in my head. And I was like, I don't want to be too distracted from my family, which is my first priority. So that's when I discovered life coaching. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so powerful because everything that it was almost like what I was doing in therapy came to this halt. Like we would go in the past and we'd work through the past issues, and then they would get to this point where they were sort of quote unquote cured. And then we would stop our work together. And I'm like, but I want to know what happens next. Like, I want to know now that these clients are feeling better and they're, functioning really well in their lives, like what's possible. So that's where the life coaching came in. And I'm like, I love that we take people from where they are now to where they really want to be. And so that's what I did. I got certified as a life coach and started doing that work. And I've been doing that for about 6 years. And then when, it's the story of COVID, like everyone went into business around that time online. And I was like, you know what? I want to help women really grow their businesses online because especially moms, like there were so many moms out there that were starting these businesses. And I'm like, if we could really just like grow these businesses, get these women super, super successful, like it's going to be life changing, not only for them, but like the whole world. Like if we have more people out there, more service providers who are heart centered, like really like helping them be super successful, really making that impact and making money while they're doing it. It just lit me up. The whole idea. I'm like, wow, I could like change the world with this.
Totally.
Yeah. And, I also wanted to be a really great example for my girls because they've always gotten the message from, well, maybe a little bit my husband and, grandparents. Oh, you just have to, find a field where you make money. And that's all it's about. You just have to make money. You have to make money. And I was like, you know what? You can make money and love what you do at the same time. So, and I just feel so incredibly grateful to have found something that I love so much and I make money doing it. And I just feel so lucky. And so I want to just help more women have that in their lives. Like we don't have to choose. We can make a really good income and we can also really love what we do. But a lot of times mindset blocks get in the way, right? Like the imposter syndrome comes in, the perfectionism comes in, and it really holds us back from stepping into that next level of us and having that next level of success in our business because as women, we've been taught to play it small. And so I really want women to be able to just do what lights them up, because I think when they are doing the thing that really lights them up, that's when they're going to get more clients anyway. So, yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. Yeah, I just really love what I do, and I really want to help other women love what they do and make money doing it.
I love that so much. I want to dive into a little bit for you as a woman in business and as a mom. We share that in common. And I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of our listeners who are on like the mompreneur. And a lot of times they're trying to balance it all and they're trying to make it all work. And it's easy to slip into the mom guilt and it's easy to slip into the entrepreneurial guilt. And it's so, what would you say to them? And I know even as far as like what limiting beliefs can come up. As far as that in your journey, what would you say to those women?
Yeah, I mean, guilt is so prevalent with moms, right? Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that comes up. We feel guilty about everything. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's definitely affected me through the years. But I feel like I've just been able to shift my mindset. And everything that I do in my work is really questioning these thoughts that we have and these stories that we tell ourselves. Like we feel like, oh, if we're spending a lot of time on our business, we're not being a good mom because we're not as present for our children. But the truth of the matter is that like even though, and I think today's day and age too, I think I don't know. We feel like we have to be these like helicopter moms. We need to be involved with everything. We need to know exactly what's going on with our children and what every little feeling is that they're having and every thought that they're having. And the truth is that we can teach our children more by modeling and by becoming the person that's kind of like becoming the best person that we can be. And the kids learn more by watching us than by us telling them what to do, right? So if I can create a business that I love, if I can create, joy in my life and have a great relationship with my husband and have great relationships in, all different aspects of my life and my children see that,
Yeah.
I think I'm doing a really good job as a mom.
Yeah. No, I
And
couldn't agree more. I love one of the sayings that I talk about is more is caught than taught. Like
yes,
that's what
so
you're saying, like the
true.
modeling. Like when
Yeah.
they see, I know even for me personally, I am a better mom. I am a better wife when I am like lit up from my business and I love like our community and our like equipping our leaders and all this different stuff. Like I come back from that and I am like the best mom
Yeah,
because I've
absolutely.
been so fulfilled in that part of who I am and what I do. So
Yeah. And, not to go too much into my own past here, but my own mother was very unhappy. And I think it was because all she ever did was try to give, give, give to us as her children. And she never took care of her. She never, ever, I think, asked the question, like, what do I really love? What do I want to do in my life? And so, what I saw, what I observed was a very unhappy person. And that is exactly the opposite of what I want to give my children. I want, like you were just describing, like coming home, like so lit up, so excited, so happy. That is the biggest gift that we can give our children is to let them see us really happy and really doing well in our lives and doing well in our businesses.
absolutely. I love that so much. I want to go back to what you were sharing when towards the end of when you were sharing about the limiting beliefs that kind of get in our way as far as our next level. And this is a fun topic because in growth environments like what we do in with Business and Bubbly, it can be kind of the like the pressure of what's underneath comes out, right? When you like jump into a room full of women or you dive into a growth environment like a mastermind, or all of a sudden there might be like someone that's in the same industry as you, because we believe in that abundance mentality and we don't shut off our networking groups for there can be multiple realtors and there can be multiple social media managers type of a mentality because there's enough for everyone. And I know for me, I've been in different networking groups where it's like you have like the one person per industry, and I'm like, I would never refer anybody to that guy.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
But going into rooms like that are growth environments, um,
I know what's underneath can come out, and those limiting beliefs can come out. Those upper limits can start to kind of put some pressure on us. And I'd love for you to share about some of those things that can come up, but also what does staying in that same place, what is that costing you? Like those women that are like, oh, okay, these limiting beliefs, like maybe I'm not putting myself in the room, or I'm not stepping up to lead, or I'm not stepping up, to grow in my confidence, or to speak more, or like to share about my business, or to connect with that woman that intimidates me type of a mentality. What does that next level, when they're being called to that next level, what does that look like? What can maybe show up as limiting beliefs? And what is not going to that next level costing them?
Yeah. Well, it's costing you your vision of your future. And honestly, I think like as far as limiting beliefs go, like we have to identify that they're there, right? With the first step is always like recognizing it, right? Recognizing the stories that, and usually, and I always love talking about this because like this is my jam, but we have so many thoughts every day. Like we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of those thoughts are the same over and over and over again. So it's really important to pinpoint like what is this like story that you're always telling yourself, right? Is it I'm not good enough or I'm not as good as that next person? Are you telling yourself you're never going to have the success of that other woman in the room? And so you might as well not even show up in those rooms because you're never going to be at that level. Those are stories that you have been telling yourself for a really long time. But the first step, it's always like recognizing recognizing that that is just a thought that you're having, right? That's a thought that's there to keep you safe.
Yeah.
The thoughts that we have are all there to keep us safe, right? I mean, that's why we've been around as long as we have as human beings on this planet. Our brain is designed to keep us small. It's designed to keep us from, really expanding. It wants us to stay within that upper limit because when we get out of our comfort zone, it causes anxiety, it causes stress. But my feeling is if you can, first of all, identify that that's your upper limit, if you can identify that that's your limiting belief, you can now start to question it. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that actually true? And then the next question, is it possible that something else is true here? Right? Is it possible that maybe you can grow to that place of that other person over there who you admire, who you think you could never achieve what they've achieved? No, you're never going to achieve what they've achieved, but you're going to achieve what you want to achieve and what is in your big vision. So I always go back to my big vision because the one thing I can say that I've always had is grit. Things have always been tough. Things have, throughout my life, things have been tough. Throughout business, things have been tough. Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride. You have to have, right? You have to have the grit to stick through not only the ups are great, but you're going to have downs. And so being able to reframe those thoughts and just say, yeah, you know what? It's really hard right now, but what am I learning? What am I learning right now from this experience? And how is that making me more equipped for the future? And keeping your vision always in mind, right? Knowing exactly what it is that you want to achieve at some point, and even showing up as that person now, right? Like, so with that person in that room, what would she be saying to herself? Like, if you imagine your future self, who you want to be and how you want to feel in the future, and show up right now, today, as that person and say, what would that person be telling herself? What thoughts would she be having? What stories would she be saying? She wouldn't be saying, I'm never going to be that good. She's going to say, I am going to be that good and I'm on the way. Right. And sometimes that's hard for women because they think, oh, I'm just lying to myself. I'm telling myself something that's not really true. Well, pick a thought that you can believe then.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, it's possible that I can be, in that room. It's possible that I can be as far along and even further than that woman that's across the room that I feel like I'm admiring from afar, right? Just give yourself permission to believe slightly more than you believe right now, because that's what it's all about. And if we can really believe in ourselves, if we can really question those stories that we've been telling ourselves forever and ever, that's where the magic truly happens.
I love that. So what does the magic look like when you start to even go back into your story and ask those questions and start to reframe some of those things? And I
Yeah.
know what you're saying about, okay, like what does it look like to step into that next level? And I know for me, it looks like taking those little steps. It might be, okay, like for her, that future self that I see in the visions and the hopes and the dreams that I have, what steps or decisions would she be making?
Yeah.
Let's maybe it's next year. Like, what decisions would that woman, the version of myself 1 year from now, what decisions would she be making versus the decisions that I would be making today? What would she be wearing? Right? Like, maybe it's like an outfit,
Yes.
just like
Yes.
embody and like put on and like push purchase. They're like, woo, like, am I going to really wear that type of
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, but would I be wearing that next year on stage in this whatever room? And it's like, yeah, I would. So I'm going to make that decision today as if I
Yeah.
were her. And those steps that we make along the way
Mm.
help us embody step by step that next version. So I just love that. So what does it look like, I would say, to encourage those women to take those steps? And when those thoughts come up, because I know for me, it's like the imposter syndrome, the who are you to do
Yeah.
this, say this, launch that, whatever type of a thing. I know for me, I feel like the imposter syndrome has has been a thing. And at the same time, it's this juxtaposition, right? Like truth lives in the tension of two paradigms of two paradigms. And so the truth that lives in the tension of, gosh, there's a lot of times where I feel like I'm not enough, and then other times I feel like I'm too much. But it's also like, why me? Like, who am I? But also, why not me?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Right? And that's that roller coaster ride, right? It's like sometimes you feel like, yeah, why not me? And then other times, like, who the heck am I to be thinking that I can do all of this, right? So it's really just, I don't know. Again, I think it's going back to those stories. Like, so looking at, you know, why do I think, why do I think it could never be me? Like, what is that thought? Like, what, you know, asking yourself, why do I think that? Why do I think it could never be me? And reassuring yourself that, yeah, it really could be me at one point. But you have to you have to kind of identify like the thought and the feeling, because the feeling is gonna, like, the feeling of like, oh God, I could never be that person. Like, you know what that feels like in your body, right? And it's different for everybody, but you might feel that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, or just that like feeling in your chest where you feel really tight. Like, I could never be that person. I'm not good enough. I'm not whatever. I'm not that person. I'm not strong enough. I'm not creative enough. My content isn't good enough. I'm not good at being on stages. I'm not a good speaker. Whatever it is that you feel like you're not good enough,
Yeah.
like, you know that feeling. And so again, asking yourself, like, what's the thought that I'm having? And how do I question that thought? And how do I shift it? So once you're questioning the thought, like, you identify the thought, you question it. What's a new thought? And so, yeah, like just what you were saying, Charity, like if you can step into that future version of you, what would that woman be saying right now? She would be saying, yes, you can do this. You can do this. You can step into that next level. And sometimes you just have to practice. It's like a muscle. You have to work it out. You have to keep practicing. Yes, I can do this. And reminding yourself every day and surrounding yourself with people who maybe believe for you until you can believe yourself, right? So surrounding yourself with powerful women who build you up, and stop comparing yourself to the people who maybe aren't, like staying in your lane, right? Like sometimes we spend so much time looking outside of ourselves, we don't spend enough time looking inward. And that's the kind of work that I do with my clients. Like we need to stay focused on working through our own stuff and stop focusing so much on everyone outside of ourselves, right? We have to do the inner work before we can expand. We have to do the inner work before we can grow and be more successful. And when we can stay in our lane and focus on the things that truly matter, that's where the magic happens too. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Ah, so
this
good.
this is where it happens. We have to believe in ourselves. And sometimes, like I said, you have to hire a coach, hire somebody to be in your corner with you if you're having a hard time holding that belief.
For sure, because we're too close. We can't always see it all and other perspectives and other input.
Yeah.
So important. We're not meant to do it alone. And I love what you're
Mhm.
saying about, okay, identifying the thoughts. And I have this really fun, it's like this really funny example because it's sometimes like when we could talk about limiting beliefs, it's like we, there's there like these kind of the cliche thoughts, like these big thoughts, oh, I'm not enough, and all like, oh, oh, I'm too much, or I can't get on stage, or all these bigger thoughts that we think or talk about. But I wrote this blog and it was talking about that sometimes it's the little thoughts that like sneak up on us. I'm going to give you this example. This was years and years ago, like when Facebook Live was first a thing, right? So like a while ago.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in a mastermind and our challenge was to do a Facebook Live every day for 30 days
Yeah.
and to start to kind of hone in on your message and that type of a thing. And it was a really fun challenge. And I remember my first one, and I had just gotten back from the gym, and I don't know about you, but I get my best ideas either like in the shower or after working out.
Yeah.
Right. And I had just gotten back from this really great workout and I was all inspired and I had like this message to share, this really great energy, and I was going to go do Facebook Live. And I remember like this thought, like right as I was about to push like the record or the live button, it was like, oh, but you're kind of sweaty and smelly. And what if they smell you? Like, and I like stopped for a second and I was like, oh yeah, like I probably should go shower first and like get camera ready. Right. So now all of a sudden you either buy into the thought of, oh yeah, I should like, oh yeah, oh, like I should be more perfect. I should be more camera. I should, right. Oh, I can't show up like this. Am I afraid to be seen? Like it leads into these other questions.
Yeah.
And
And no one can smell you through
wow, like why do you smell me?
no one can smell you through the camera. Yeah.
I
I
like
agree though.
So I'm
I'm
like,
here.
I have to go back and say, okay, what is this thought? Like, where is this first coming from? Like this dumb little thought. Oh, they're gonna smell you. No, like I like got rid of like I did the live anyways, but I ended up sharing that later and like fun little lessons that I learned from that. But sometimes it's not always these big, colossal, life-changing thoughts. Sometimes it's the stupid thoughts that
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
us in our tracks. And identify those things and oh, okay, what's actually really coming up in this thought for me? Oh, it's because I'm either like perfectionism is coming up or the people pleasing tendencies are coming up, or am I really afraid to be seen like this? Like to be like, so yeah, it's those
Yeah.
other questions that lead in from the smaller dumb thoughts that can be inside.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know what you're saying. They're not dumb thoughts, but yeah, they're sneaky thoughts, right? They're sneaky thoughts because you don't even really know they're there. And then
Totally.
all of a sudden they sneak up on you and they're like tapping you in the shoulder. Oh, somebody might see that you're just back from the gym. And I love that thought maybe somebody could smell me through the camera. I think that's hilarious. But the thing is that, yeah, and that's why we have to get that help. We have to get that outside perspective because the sneaky thoughts are often the ones that are going to really hold us back. And I always love to say that you can't see the prescription from inside the bottle.
Totally.
So sometimes those thoughts, they're almost like on this subconscious level. And when you start to talk, like I've noticed with my clients, they start to talk and we just get into this dialogue and I start to notice their sneaky thoughts. And I will say, have you noticed that in the last, 5 minutes, you've said to me at least 5 times, I should fill in the blank, right? And I always say, stop shooting on yourself.
Yeah.
Stop shooting on yourself. That's not like there's nothing you should do here. You do what feels right for you. There's no right or wrong, right? We need to do what feels most aligned and what feels the best and that lights you up inside, because that's the magic in marketing, right? So when they can't see those thoughts, I can help them, I can help them see them. I bring them to light. And yeah, sometimes it's operating on this subconscious level that we don't even notice. And really, so that's where we have to get the coaching or the therapy to really help us to identify them. And that's because, again, like I was saying earlier, if you don't even know what they are, you can't move them out of your way. So you have to do that work first.
Totally. And I know you have a quiz that helps people with this. Do you want to share?
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about them as our self-sabotaging specialty, right? We all have and it's the things you've been saying, like the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, the people pleasing. These are those, we all kind of have our favorite, our specialty self-sabotage, right? So my quiz is really just helping coaches mainly, but online service providers uncover exactly what's keeping them from more cash and more clients. And so that quiz will figure out for you exactly what is holding you back. And then I offer all kinds of really helpful, I think, tips and advice on how to start to overcome those things that are in your way. Because you've got people to help. You've got people to serve. We can't have this stuff in your way anymore. We gotta tell that inner critic to take a hike, right?
That's so good. I love it. Well, Jennifer, I know people are going to want to not only take the quiz, but dive into your world on Instagram and all the fun things. So we'll make sure to put everything in the show notes, but I also want you to make sure to share where they can find you, follow you, take the quiz, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, everything. I'm on Instagram a lot. I love hanging out on Instagram. Probably a little too much. I probably need to be a little more focused in my Instagram scroll, but I love Instagram. So I'm at J Jakobsen Life Coach on Instagram, and it's Jakobsen with a K. I also have my own podcast, which is called Clarity to Cash. And yeah, you can pretty much find anything I'm up to on my Instagram. So if you go there, you can find the quiz. You can join my Facebook group. You can, schedule a free clarity call with me, a clarity to clients call with me. So yeah, that's where all the things are. And I love to chat. Even if you just want to reach out and say hi, I love connecting with female entrepreneurs. So yeah.
Oh, great. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your wisdom. You guys, I'll make sure to put everything in the show notes so you can dive into her quiz and Instagram and all of that fun stuff. You are doing such amazing work, and has been really fun to connect with you and to just to highlight you and to hear your story. And I look forward to chatting with you again.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thanks so much, Charity.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.